Tree Hotel, and so she was down there speaking about that, and it kind of caught my ear. You know, I was on my laptop working, so I asked her, "Hey, what's this about?" So she pulled up a chair, so I did. You know, here I am. I signed up about, I didn't have the money quite then to sign up to become an agent, but I signed up about probably 3, 4 days later.
Interesting. I'm gonna get my markers right quick.
So are you in this area?
I'm in Woodbridge, So how long you been in that place?
About, maybe about a year, or a little bit less.
So you normally go down to Georgia?
No, I went down to Georgia a couple of times. One of the main seminars I went down to Georgia when they had the Momentum Society in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I was down there for that, and then after that event, I kind of, that's when I stopped going. Kind of things kind of fell through with my upline, so I was displeased. So I fell back, and then 2 months later, I started back up again. So.
Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so I'm doing something a little bit different this time. It's like y'all can tell the room is set up different. And I did that so that it wouldn't impede any of the other rooms and what they were doing. But I also did it so I can actually have more access, so I can record the audience and I can record myself. Right now I got 2 cameras going on at the same time. That camera and then that camera. So the reason why I did that is because when we start practicing, y'all gonna get a copy of it. So if you camera shy, it's the wrong business to be in. So, does anybody know the difference between an entrepreneur and a salesperson? No? No one knows the difference between an entrepreneur and a salesperson? What's the difference?
A salesperson focused on making sales. So
Okay.
Salesperson, sell product, entrepreneur.
entrepreneur
Do both.
owns a business.
They do business and sales.
You said a salesperson sells a product,
Mm-hmm.
and an entrepreneur does what?
Runs a business.
Runs a
Operates
business,
a business.
operates a business, and they basically create products. And they solve problems. That's the number one thing you gotta understand about entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs solve problems, so they're problem solvers. Okay. Salespeople follow a process. Because most good salespeople can sell anything, right? If you're a salesperson, somebody gives you a script, you rehearse the script, you practice a script, you can sell it. Here's the thing. If you have nothing to sell, then what are you? Not a salesperson, right? Entrepreneurs, they're salespeople and they're problem solvers. Because in many cases, you'll sit on the board of directors as an entrepreneur to start a business, to help a business run, to determine what products and services need to be sold, or if there's a need in that area, or how to determine what the demographics are. Understand? So, salespeople are generally employees. and they need a product to sell in order to generate income. Entrepreneurs, they can pretty much do so many things. They can get paid for sitting on boards of directors. They can get paid for consulting. They don't necessarily have to sell a product. They just need to solve a problem. So entrepreneurs are your more well-rounded individuals. It's very rare that a salesperson who is not an entrepreneur will ever sit on anybody's board of directors. It's very rare. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying it's very rare. And why is sitting on somebody's board of director impactful and pivotal? The reason why that is because if you're going to be successful in this area, you need to know how to talk to all types of business owners. You don't just need to talk to business owners who are salespeople. Because most successful people in this area who are entrepreneurs, they look like everyday people. You wouldn't know a millionaire or billionaire in this area unless you talk to them. And you have to talk to them for an extensive amount of time to determine that they're worth anything. So why is that important? What's that word?
Credit repair.
Who needs credit repair? What are we taught? We're taught that everybody needs credit repair, right? Okay. So why is it that this area has the least amount of credit repair clients?
Guess people rather pay cash than worry about charging anything.
People don't want people knowing their business.
Yeah.
Say it again.
People don't want people knowing their business
And why don't people want people knowing their business in this area, honey?
because they have what is it? They're living, what do you call it?
Only lives.
A facade. They're putting on a show. Or
Yeah.
pretty much.
If you live in what they call a DMV area, DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, the perception is that you're making anywhere between $90K to $300,000 a year. That's the perception. Whether it's fact or not is irrelevant. And the reason why that's the perception is because 6 of the wealthiest counties are in the DMV. I'm going to say it again. 6 of the wealthiest counties in the United States of America are in the DMV. Now, with that being said, you got individuals like I used to be. I used to be an IT consultant, systems engineer. My salary was $150,000 a year. I got paid to go to work. If the system was up, I didn't touch it. I'm going to say it again. I got paid to go to work. If the system was up and running, I did not touch it. So basically, I got paid $150,000, $160,000 to babysit a computer. Somebody sell me on credit repair right quick. I'll wait. What would you say? What would you say to me? Anybody? What would you say? Somebody sell me on becoming a credit repair agent.
How many people do you know that has less than perfect credit?
I don't know anybody that has less than perfect credit.
You ever thought about starting your own business?
No, not really. Come on, keep trying.
Would you, what is it? Would you like to make additional income?
Nah, not really. I'm fine. I'm good. And the reason why I'm giving you that answer, the perception is that the average person in this area makes anywhere between $90,000 and $300,000 a year. If I tell you I need extra income, what am I admitting?
You're not making that much.
And if I'm trying to keep the facade up, and 9 times out of 10, I'm driving a car that I cannot afford, i.e. a Lexus or a Mercedes or a BMW with car payments that are almost as great as or equal to my mortgage or my rent, why would I ever admit that I need credit repair? Even if my clearance depended on it. That's the reason why this word is a bad word in the DMV. It's a bad word. Because I'm admitting that in the land of opportunity, where everybody's making almost $100,000 a year easily for showing up, I'm financially illiterate. I have a $75,000 car. I live in a $500,000 home, and I'm financially illiterate. Oh, and I'm a systems engineer with a master's degree. Good luck getting somebody in that area to admit that. That's the reason why there aren't that many people that are subscribing to credit repair. Because this is not Hampton, Virginia, where I'm from, where the average salary is $40,000 a year. This is not Macon, Georgia. This is not Florida. This is not Detroit, Michigan. This is in the area where the average salary is close to $100,000 a year. So with that being said, if you are truly an entrepreneur, you know your audience. If you're a salesperson, you're just selling a product. And you really don't care about your audience. Because with you, it's all about numbers. And that's a bad marketing plan. Right? So, what you're going to learn here today, and hopefully every day that you decide to come, is how to think like an entrepreneur. And how to think, period. I'm not going to tell you that you can just come here or go anywhere and start selling people and get agents because everybody needs credit repair. Yeah, everybody needs credit repair. But everybody's not going to be honest that needs credit repair, especially when they're living in a house that's underwater. They can't afford the 2 cars that they got, and they're living $1,000 above their means every month. Basically means they're putting themselves $12,000 per year in credit card debt, deeper and deeper. So if they live like that for 3 years, they're $36,000 in credit card debt. They've been living like that for 3 years. You think they're going to change that and admit that, and then they got to admit that to their friends because that's who we're asking to go talk to. Or you can get online and do it, right? What are some of the challenges with going online and selling a product or a service? Come on, talk to me. Let's be honest. We here to tell the truth. What are some of the challenges? People trusting you, right? Trust.
There's so many people who have encountered a lot of scammers.
Scammers. What else? Y'all forgetting the most obvious.
Reputation.
Reputation. That's a good one. I'll put that on the trust.
Most obvious.
Your social?
No. I'm not talking about selling credit repair. I'm talking about selling anything online. What is the most difficult thing about selling anything online? Come on, think about
Getting
it.
people to buy?
Okay, customers. Y'all missed the most obvious. That's okay. Competition. Everybody's online, right?
True.
Right? So, if I'm an online shopper, right? And I come across credit repair, do you think you're the first company that has tried to sell me credit repair? And if you're not the first person that has tried to sell me credit repair, and I'm not really concerned about seeing you or meeting you, what is the number one concern that I'm going to have when there's so much competition? Y'all know the answer to this. If there's so much competition and I'm a client searching online, what's the number one thing that I'm concerned about? I'll give you an example. Amazon.
Price.
Thank you. Cost. Has anybody seen anybody online selling credit repair for $39 a month? You seen that, right? I've seen it too. I've had somebody come in my office and wanted me to sell them credit repair for $39 a month. Yeah, that didn't happen. So, what's going to separate a person who's been online looking for credit repair and they're used to seeing $39 a month and you're charging, what's it, $188 and then $89 a month? Is that right? You're literally $50 a month more. Why should they come to you?
You present value.
You present value. Okay? You present value. How do you show you present value? If they've never met you and they never talked to you.
Your website better be on point.
Website better be on point. Key phrases and key things to say. Right? Right? Okay. I'm going to say something on camera that I very rarely say for not wanting to offend people right now. I really don't care. Y'all heard the term of low-hanging fruit, right? Y'all know what that means? What does it mean? What does low-hanging fruit mean?
The leftovers.
No. Think of it.
The one in the
Low-hanging
bottom.
fruit is in reference to what?
People at the bottom.
People at the bottom. The easiest people to sell to. Right? Meaning, you say the right things. They are impulse buyers. The same reason why you go in a grocery store, you go in a convenience store. They have your impulse products right there at the register, which most people who are impulse buyers will pick up and at least look at it, right? What's the problem with always attracting low-hanging fruit? What's the number one problem? Well, what are some problems with going after the easy person to sell to? How about we change that? And low-hanging fruit is a person that's easy to sell to. They're quick to buy. What's the number one problem?
The easiest to go.
What if some of the experiences that you've had with people that once you sold them, what have been some of your experiences with them?
They high maintenance.
High maintenance. Give me an example of what you mean by high maintenance.
I had a client just here recently, and it's funny because in my mind it was like, don't be afraid to fire your clients. Kept going in my brain as I was going back and forth with this lady. But she asked a whole bunch of questions. She challenged everything that I said. But it's like she came to me as the expert, but she wasn't even allowing me to be the expert. And it was like, if you didn't need me, why did you come to me? So then I gave the option for her to cancel out. She's like, oh, no, I don't want to cancel out. I just need you to fix my credit. I'm like, but I'm trying to give you the solution, but you challenge me in everything that I say.
But do you know why that is?
She's mean.
Not necessarily mean. Everything that we do from a standpoint, business-wise, majority of stuff that you can do as a business owner is on the internet. It's available for you to watch through YouTube, right? Instagram, or some form of social media where there's a recording. So majority of these people, they know how the process works. And many of them think they can do it themselves. So they're trying to figure out why they should pay you. So they're going to ask you a lot of questions. They're going to be antagonistic because they think they know better than you.
She told me her TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian are supposed to be exactly the same, and if they're not, then she can dispute.
Just because it's on the internet don't mean it's true, right? Somebody somewhere told her that, or she saw it on the internet, right? Right. What's another problem with customers that are easy to sell to, that you've never met? High maintenance is one. I'm gonna give you. I'll put it this way. High expectations.
Oh yeah, that's her too.
Don't ask me this. How you spell expectations? EXPECTIONS. Yeah.
I think so. Expectation.
That's expectations a day. That's what it is. So you tell them it's gonna take 60 to 90 days. They want it in 69 days, right? Right. Then they're calling you. They haven't sent off their letters, but they call you asking if why these scores ain't going down. Or you tell them Credit Karma is not a good tool to be looking at your credit report. And you should get your credit report from a reputable company or a reputable service that you normally have to pay, because you're going to get the real results from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. But they insist that Credit Karma is what they should use, and that's what you should use, right? So they have high expectations, right?
You know, the going thing now is that a lot of people are getting, even agents are getting this email from Experian, I think it is, telling them to dispute online. But that stops them from sending your results by mail. Because there's a clause in the fine print.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to get everybody to ignore this email, but they've been signing up. It's like, it's an official Experian and I can get my results online. I'm like, no.
No. All it does is it creates an internal mechanism that says, we disputed it and we're gonna ignore it.
Exactly, and I told her that too.
So, what's another reason why it's very difficult? What's another challenge that you have from talking to people or from people that you sell to that's easy to sell to?
Yeah.
No loyalty. They don't get the results they want when they want, they're jumping ship. So what ends up happening as salespeople, you end up going for the low-hanging fruit, and you're replacing your clients every 3 to 4 months. Right? Who's familiar with these two auto companies? That's Lamborghini. Yeah, I spelled it wrong, but follow the thought. Who's heard of Ford? Who's heard of Lamborghini? Y'all heard of them, right? You do know there's a Lamborghini dealership in Chantilly, right? You didn't know that. You'd have to be looking for it to know that, right? So, why did I put Ford and Lamborghini up? Does anybody know how many Ford F-150s are sold in a month? All over the United States. How many do you think are Ford? All over the United States.
In a month?
In a month.
Like 10,000.
30,000. How many Lamborghinis do you think are sold in a month?
10.
About 30. Who do you think has the most complaints from their customers? Think about it. Who do you think has the most complaints from their customers? Are there not a lot of Ford dealerships? How many Lamborghini dealerships are there? Okay, do y'all know where the closest Lamborghini dealership outside of here is? No, outside of Virginia. Do you know where the next closest one is?
No.
Florida. Yeah. Florida's where you can go to get the exotic colors. Lamborghinis here come in like 3 basic colors: red, black, white. If you want a green one like Missy Elliott had, you got to go to Florida, or you got to go out to Midwest or out west. So why did I do this?
Comparison.
The reason why I made this comparison is you could generate $1 million selling Fords, right? You can also generate $1 million selling Lamborghinis, right? Which one do you have to sell more of to make $1 million? So why don't everybody have a Lamborghini dealership? The process to get a dealership is generally the same. You do know that, right? Fear. The same reason why most credit repair companies or the most agents don't talk to wealthy people. They're scared. They're scared to go out to answer some questions. They're scared they don't have a script. They're scared there's going to be a test of their knowledge. They're scared that they may not know the answer. They're scared that they're not going to be able to impress. See, because if I can impress you, we're already at a level to where you're going to look up to me so I can influence you to buy. If I don't have any influence over you, then I'm not an effective salesperson, right? My upline can come here and drive a Bentley. No one would care. I have clients whose kids own Bentleys. They bought them for birthdays, graduations. So they're not going to care that my upline owns a Bentley. They're not going to care that my upline makes $20,000 a month. They're not going to care. So they can't be influenced into selling credit because of what somebody has, what somebody does, or what somebody says. Now they may ask them a question like, well, whose board of directors do you sit on, or what business owners outside of your industry are you associated and affiliated with? What's your tax liability? What's your balance sheet look like? Who's your accountant? What nonprofits do you have? Why do I say that? Owning a nonprofit in this area is like owning a business card. I know people that have 4 or 5 nonprofit organizations. If you don't have a nonprofit organization, you're not successful. So I say this because I need you to understand that if you're trying to sell FES in this area, and you're trying to sell it like they sell it in Florida, and you're trying to sell it like they sell it in Georgia, and you're trying to sell it like they sell it in Richmond, you're going to fail. You will not succeed. Quick question. Again, it goes back to knowing your audience. How many realtors are there in the DMV? In DC, Maryland, Virginia, how many realtors are there?
Million.
Say it again?
Million.
Yeah, there's a million. $1 million realtors in the DMV. What's the average amount of houses? What's the amount of houses that the average realtor in the DMV sells? Meaning, if you're a realtor and you're average, how many houses have you sold in a year?
1 or 2. 1 or 2.
1 or 2. And if you are selling lots of houses, do you have time to go to a seminar?
No.
So who will show up?
We're not selling.
So how many credit repair clients do you expect to get sent? Oh, I'm sure that stunk a little bit.
how many credit clients you expect?
How many credit repair clients do you expect to get from the average realtor in the DMV if they're only selling one house a year? Especially those are going to be the ones that show up. I have a realtor that sits on my board of directors. So I'm gonna give you some information that's facts. Ani knows this woman. I have a realtor that sits on my board of directors. She sells on average 15 to 16 houses a year, part-time. She hardly ever even shows up for our board meetings because she's so busy. Do you think she would show up for a seminar? Know your audience. Just because there are realtors in the area, you got to know your audience. What realtors are you attracting? What realtors are you inviting? What's the average seller homes that they're making? What's the average price of a house in this area? 300,000, right? Let's just say the average cost of a house is 300,000. So you're looking at a mortgage of around what? If you got good credit, around what? 18, 19, close to $2,000 a month, right? What if you got bad credit? 3,000.
Ain't that high?
I don't know.
2,000, 2,300.
2,300. With bad credit. On a $300,000 house. Does anybody know what the average cost of a house in America is? No, in America. The average cost of a house in the United States of America is what?
100,000?
About 150,000. What's the mortgage on $150,000?
Maybe like $700 or $800.
$800. But let's make it even thousand, right? Right. So if the average house in the United States of America is 150,000, and the average house in DMV is 300,000, do you think the average person in DMV can afford credit repair? Know your audience. How much would a person have to be earning, or what's the cost of a house that they would have to be purchasing before credit repair would not be an issue with them? $500,000 or above. $500,000 or above. And the reason why that would not be an issue to them because they understand credit. And 9 times out of 10, their score is anywhere between 690 and 730. You want to sell more credit repair? These are the people you need to be selling to. Why? It's easier to get the stuff off their credit report because they may only have like 2 items. Your turnaround time is going to be faster, right? If somebody's got a credit score of like 500, how many items they got on their credit report?
20.
So is it easy to get 20 off in 60 days, or is it easy to get 2 off in 60 days?
2.
Is a person with a 690 between a 690 and 730, is it easier to get the money from them for credit repair, or is it easier to get somebody's money that's got $500? That's got a 500 credit score. This is the answer that you want to hear when you tell a client how much it costs. That's it. That's the answer you want to hear. In this area, if that's not the answer you're getting, you're talking to the wrong client. So how do you find these clients who are purchasing homes of at least $450,000 or higher? Somebody give me an answer.
Loan officer.
Loan officers. How do you know that the loan officer is selling homes of 450,000 or higher?
Yes.
You do what?
Ask.
You ask, right? You think they'll tell you?
People like to brag and boast.
Right, know your audience. So, while everybody else is going for the people who are going for realtors who are selling homes or first-time home buyers who can't afford credit repair, and are going online for people who's only going to stay on for a couple of months, why don't you go where no one else in credit repair is going? Anybody know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many people you know pay cash for one of those? What's the number one model of a business owner that's wealthy?
Cash flow.
That's one of them. But what's the number one model of a successful business owner that's generating income? You're supposed to use what?
Other people's money.
Say it again.
Other people's money.
In order to use other people's money, how does your credit have to look? So during the economic downturn, do you think just only the average person was affected? You do realize wealthy people were affected too, right? While we may have known people that had lost a house, they lost buildings. They lost $1 million properties, and their credit hit the crapper. The reason why they weren't as affected is because they have cash flow. And here's another hint: they don't even know that there's a such thing as credit repair. You know why? No one uses that term, and no one talks to these people because they're scared. That's the reason why no one sells credit repair in this area, because they're scared they're going to run into somebody that may know something. You can't go up to somebody and go, "Yo, you need to get your credit fixed, right?" And you don't get on my face. You don't know what I need. You can't tell a wealthy person from an average person in this area, because I know wealthy people that don't buy name brand clothes. I know wealthy people that drive Honda Accords. So the likelihood of someone coming in this area and taking over and actually having this area grow like Georgia is slim and none, because they would really have to know how to talk to business owners. If you want to be successful in this area, you got to know how to talk to business owners. You got to know how to talk to people that are looking for credit-worthy clients. You just can't go up to somebody and say, "Well, you need your credit fixed, so you need to join my team because my upline drives a Bentley, or because my upline was on Steve Harvey." And that's no shot at anybody whose upline was able to do that. But the majority of people I know that are successful don't watch Steve Harvey. And they have Bentleys. So they wouldn't be impressed. And if you want to be able to run your business anywhere, then you need to know how to be a business owner and an entrepreneur, not just a salesperson. Because here's something that you might want to take note of. The credit laws are changing. They're changing. So as the credit laws change, what are you going to do? Go sell something else? You're going to go into another industry where you're selling something? Why not create a brand to where you're not dependent on a product or a service, and everybody buys because of who you are as a person, not because of what you sell? That's what entrepreneurs do. Am I telling you to get out of FES? By no stretch of the imagination. Do not get out of FES. Stay in it, because you will earn a significant amount of income. But don't brand FES. Brand you. Okay? Brand you. And you got to get over your fear of talking to people and talking to business owners, because pretty much that's what everybody in this area is eventually trying to do, become business owners, because government contracts. I have people come into my office all the time, want to know how to get a government contract, how to start their own business. This is going to be one of the first areas where we have the largest amount of entrepreneurs versus anywhere else because of the government contracts, because of you have wealthy people that are just wealthy in plain sight and just sitting back watching everything. So, questions? I just hit y'all with a lot of information. I know somebody got a question. Fletcher, what about you? You got a question? I know Fletcher's like, I did not come here for this. What you think? Well, when somebody do have a question, they can use the mic. Well, you keep thinking, I'll keep talking. So how do you find these people that need these credit-worthy clients? Right? That's probably a good question. Networking events. LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a good place to go. The reason why LinkedIn is so good is because it's already designed for business owners to shop their wares. Either you're on LinkedIn to get a job, or you're on LinkedIn to find somebody to hire or partner with. Unlike Facebook, unlike Instagram, unlike the other social media platforms, LinkedIn is specifically designed for you to partner with other business owners. Like your realtors, mortgage lenders, loan officers, insurance agents. If I spelled it wrong, you'll get the hint. So how do you attract them people on LinkedIn? How do you get them to reach out to you?
Set up a profile.
Profile.
Yeah.
What your profile says or does not say will determine whether or not they reach out to you. Now remember, you got to know your audience. So what sounds better as a profile? My name is Thomas Harrelson, and I repair credit. Or, my name is Thomas Harrelson, and I help mortgage lenders sell more houses. Which one sounds better? Second one. There are people at FES that are on LinkedIn, and I get more mortgage lenders reaching out to me than they get more mortgage lenders reaching out to them. Well, let me rephrase. I get more mortgage lenders that have high-end buyers than they do. All because of my profile. It doesn't mean I'm better than them because they haven't talked to me yet. What your profile says dictates whether a particular type of mortgage lender or realtor will be attracted or not. If you're selling houses to first-time home buyers, you're going to get realtors, mortgage lenders, and loan officers that are looking for credit repair people. If you're looking to refinance a $500,000 or $750,000 or $1 million home, you're looking for individuals that can help mortgage lenders sell more homes. You're not looking for somebody to do credit repair. Because 9 times out of 10, you didn't know what credit repair is. And if anybody thinks I'm not telling the truth, go to Loudoun County, the wealthiest county in the United States of America. Look it up. And ask a realtor who sells houses for $1 million, do they know what credit repair is? They'll probably be like, that's a thing. Now, quick question. Wouldn't these individuals who are successful in generating income, wouldn't they be on social media? Wouldn't they be on social media? If they're so successful?
No.
So,
They're busy being successful.
say what?
I said they're busy being successful.
But wouldn't they have, so let me rephrase the question. Wouldn't they have social media accounts? Who do you think run those accounts?
Whoever they hire.
And if they're not running their accounts and they're hiring somebody to run those accounts, those people that run those accounts are paid to do what? Find their demographic. I'm going to say it again. If you are dealing with, or if you're looking for high-end mortgage lenders, realtors, or loan officers, and they're selling 40 to 50 houses, whereas a realtor selling 40, 50 houses a year, when do they have time to be on a social media platform? So if they don't have time to be on a social media platform, but they have a social media presence, why is it that nobody in credit repair is reaching them? I'll wait. Know your audience. They're not looking for the same people the credit repair person is looking for. So their demographic is going to be different. They're looking for individuals with a higher net worth who generally already have credit scores of what? 720 and above. So if that's the case, they would never ever come across somebody who sells credit repair, right? Truth be told, if you have time to manage your social media account, you're probably not generating as much income as you say, unless you're getting paid from your social media. That's the reason why successful people don't do credit repair. And it has nothing to do with the fact that they don't like credit repair. One is probably listed or determined by some other name. There's a different demographic. And the people that do have credit repair are too scared to talk to them because they're scared that they might get exposed. Because they might ask a question that that person might not be able to answer. Know your audience. Know who you're talking to. Know who you're looking for. Don't just have mentors that are in your industry. You're supposed to have mentors for every facet of your life. If all of your mentors are in your industry, that's not good. Because if all your mentors are in your industry, what can they teach you outside of your industry? If you're a successful business owner and you come to me as a successful business owner, I can ask you 3 questions to determine whether or not you either are successful or the IRS hasn't caught up with you yet. Question number 1. Is your balance sheet classified or unclassified? Did anybody know there was a difference? Does anybody know what the difference is? Think about it. A classified balance sheet versus an unclassified balance sheet. What's the difference? Because if something's classified, what does that mean? You can't find it, or you're going to get the basic information. If it's unclassified, what does that mean? There's more specifics. Okay, so a classified balance sheet is a balance sheet where they just want the totals. They don't need the names of the entities. They don't need to know what the account number is. But an unclassified balance sheet, they want everything, like you would have when you're dealing with a nonprofit. So if I ask you that question and you're supposed to be a successful business owner, and your answer, and I'm going to help some people out that might end up seeing this, your answer should be, my accounting team handles that. But you should at least know the difference. Because those are some of the questions you're going to get coming up here messing with the big wigs. You driving a Bentley, the number 1 question they're going to ask you is, what vehicle are you using to afford that Bentley? Does anybody know does anybody know what that means when someone asks that question? What vehicle are you using to afford that ... Meaning, what vehicle, financial instrument, are you using to leverage so that you can get that Bentley, go on that vacation, purchase that house, buy that yacht? The person that would normally be able to help you with that would be your financial planner. Now, the appropriate question for that would be, I have a digital financial team to help me, which will intrigue them. Then you can introduce them to FES. Know your audience. Don't come up here, don't come to the Northern Virginia area popping off some stuff that you would say somewhere else and then get embarrassed and be walking home or driving home with your tail between your legs in your Bentley. Don't nobody care. They don't. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The Washington Redskins drive Bentleys? I'm just saying. There's a lot of them. When I used to work at Booz Allen Hamilton, the partners, because the way Booz Allen is set up, they're set up like a law firm, so they had over 200 partners. The first level parking was for the partners. I drove by Bentleys, Rolls, what's that other car? The Maybach, every day. Those cars are parked in the parking lot every day. If you want to see a Bentley or Maybach or Rolls, go on 66. You'll see one. You'll see a lot of them. So, know your audience. Who are you looking for as a client? Do you want this to be hard or do you want this to be relatively simple? Because if you want it to be hard and you're making $20,000 a month, but you're working 20 hours a day, is that hard or easy? It's hard. 20 hours a day? Where do they do that at? Obviously, they never read the book for 4-hour work week. The more money that you're generating, the more time you're supposed to have. That's the way MLM was designed. The more money you generate, the more time you're supposed to have. If you're getting higher and higher up in the quote unquote food chain, but you're working more and more hours, you're not doing it right. I'm sorry, you're not. Because that defeats the purpose of an MLM. You're supposed to leverage the efforts of other people. And if you leverage the efforts of other people and you still got to work 20 hours a day, your model is off. You shouldn't have to work that hard. Especially earning $20,000 a month. Where are your virtual assistants? Where are your employees? Why don't you have at least 3 or 4 people in taking your calls and closing your clients? You pay them a commission of what you make off the sale. That makes sense, right? Anybody know how much the average virtual assistant makes to do that? $25 an hour. They will read your script, learn your script, and close your sales for $25 an hour. Now, if you're making $30,000, $20,000 a month, you can afford that, right? Why don't they teach that? Why not hire somebody to teach your team to do that? Why not hire a manager to do your agent calls? And you just come in for the big stuff. That's what they do at corporations, right? Anybody ever work for a major corporation? And the only time you see the CEO is at that once a year get together? Well, you may see him in the videos, but when it comes to the day-to-day maintenance and the managing of it, you don't see him, right? Why don't they teach that? Because those CEOs, those individuals are earning $20,000 a month, but they're out playing golf. They're out doing something with their nonprofits. They're out making and closing deals with other people who are making $20,000 and $30,000 a month and not expending a whole bunch of effort. That's the difference between an entrepreneur and a salesperson. Salespeople can only make money when they're working. Entrepreneurs make money when they're sleeping. If you are truly an entrepreneur, you should be able to go away for 3 months, come back and earn more money than you did before you left. Because you got systems in place. Now, if you had hired somebody, right, to take in your calls, close your sales, process your clients, keep track of them, and help lead your team, you could go away for 3 months, right? Only thing you have to do is make conference calls once a week, right? And you can make a conference call from anywhere, right? Oh, okay. Why don't they teach that? Because it's really simple stuff. It's nothing. It's not something where you have to be a rocket scientist to do. The reason why they don't teach it has absolutely. You can cut that mic off if you want to. The reason why they don't teach it has absolutely nothing to do. Just push it down. Has absolutely nothing to do with their intelligence, because they're very intelligent people, or they wouldn't be generating $20,000 a month. They don't have time. They don't have time to do that. Because what happens is you get success as a sales director. You got $10,000 in volume. Now you have a team that you're trying to get to senior field trainer while maintaining your own $10,000 in volume, while helping them get their $10,000 in volume. So what you're doing is now you're placing sales up under them and hoping that they will learn to become leaders. Do you think you're going to have more time or less time when you become a regional sales director? Do you think you're going to have more time or less time when you become an executive sales director? Do you think you're going to have more time or less time when you become a VP? You have to maintain that volume because you're replacing an agent and or a sale every 3 to 4 months. So not only do you have to replace your sales, you have to replace your agent sales to maintain your volume while also getting more sales. Wouldn't it make more sense to develop a relationship with mortgage lenders and realtors and they stay on a service for a year, and then instead of replacing one person, replacing somebody every 3 to 4 months, you're only replacing one person a year? Wouldn't that make more sense? Mm-hmm. Why don't they teach that? So, I say all that to say, we need to learn how to think. We should not just listen to what somebody says and take it for face value. That includes me. Anything I say, go do the research on it. And I encourage you. I'm going to say it one more time. I encourage you to challenge me on anything I have said thus far. Don't believe anything I say. Please go do the research. Because what I want you to do is I want you to learn to think and question everything. The goal is to develop leaders, not followers. I want you to push back. I want you to disagree. Not be disagreeable, but be like, that doesn't make sense. You can talk about it. Why is that important? Because in the event that you do decide to become an entrepreneur and you sit on a board of directors, you're going to disagree with those business owners. You're not going to agree on everything. There are going to be fundamental differences. There are going to be ethical differences. There are going to be financial differences. And you're going to have to learn how to disagree without being disagreeable. And you're going to have to exercise something called emotional intelligence. Does anybody know what that is? Emotional intelligence. What does that sound like? What does it sound like? What does it sound like when I say you have to exercise emotional intelligence? What does that mean to you?
Don't react on emotions. Don't make decisions based on emotions.
Don't make decisions based on emotions. Don't act out on emotions. What's another thing that strikes your mind when you hear the term emotional intelligence?
Your feelings.
Exactly. When you're dealing with people, you not only have to be aware of your feelings, you have to be aware of the feelings of the individuals around you. And I will never say to somebody, don't get angry. What I will suggest is don't act out in anger. Does anybody know the difference? What's the difference between being angry versus acting out in anger? What's the difference? Yeah, I know. Can anybody give me an example?
When you're doing something to show your level of anger.
Right, it's just like it sounds. I could be angry right now and you'll never know it because I'm not acting out in anger. My inflection, my tone, the words that I'm using does not incline you to believe that I'm angry. But I could be experiencing anger right now. Or I could do what the average person would do and speak angrily, have angry inflections in my voice, or even get physical and slam things down. You would actually know I was angry then, right? When you're dealing with individuals, emotional intelligence is not only knowing what your temperature is as far as anger, aggression, upsetness, and things of that nature, but it's also knowing what the other person's temperature is and being able to manage it and not let their energy or their emotions negatively affect yours. Case in point, if you're talking to one of your agents, or you're talking to a business partner, and they're yelling and raising their voice at you, using or exercising emotional intelligence would be you lower your voice, or you just listen and say nothing. Not using emotional intelligence would be you raising your voice to talk over that person that's yelling at you, which means now both of y'all are yelling, and you have now been affected based off of the way that they feel or what they said. Emotional intelligence in a situation of your agent doesn't make the calls that they say they're going to make. They don't do anything that they say they're going to do. To handle that intelligently, you got to understand who they are, what affects them negatively, what affects them positively. To act unintelligently emotionally would be to yell at them, to belittle them, and tell them they need to just go back to their job because they suck at what they're doing. To handle it emotionally with intelligence, you would ask them, what's the problem? Why do they feel like this isn't working for them? Or what's the reason why they're not doing what they said they were doing? And you don't allow them to know that you're angry or upset. You've heard it. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? See, because the reason why that's important is if I'm your upline and I'm making $20,000 a month, I can yell at you and get away with it because I'm your upline and I'm making $20,000 a month. Do you think I would yell at Oprah? Why not? See the difference? Exercising emotional intelligence is treating everybody the same regardless of their status or how they affect you financially. If you treat everybody like they was worth $1 million, or you treat everybody like they were Oprah, you might get somebody on your team that is Oprah. You thought about that? Emotional intelligence is being under control of your emotions and not letting anybody or anything control your emotions while other people are emotional. So Thomas, what does that look like? I'm glad you asked. You wake up in the morning. It's a great day. It's the beginning of the sales line. So you got 5 weeks to help your team get to where they need to go. Everything is going phenomenal. You get ready to go to your car and head to your meeting. First meeting the client. They want to sign up. Your car's gone. You parked it in the parking lot. It got stolen. So now you have to cancel your meeting and find out where your car is. So you file a police report, so forth and so on. You're fuming. You're heated. You are upset. One of your agents called. They have an issue. One of their people who wants to buy a protection plan or they want to buy a product or service, they didn't call. Or the credit card declined. Right? What do? Do you A, yell at them and tell them they really don't have an issue because your car got stolen? Do you B, help them out with what they're going through even though your car got stolen? Or C, do you not even answer the phone so you don't even know what the problem is? Most people would either choose C or A. That is not exercising emotional intelligence. See, here's the things that I wish that organizations would really get good at teaching people is how to manage your emotions, how to deal with stress. Because we have more people dying from heart attacks at the age of 30 and 40 than we've ever had, and it's all related to stress. How do you deal with stress? You have to have an outlet. You also have to have a very healthy sense of humor. Emotions are not a choice. How you respond or react during your emotional episode is a choice. Would you agree? Here's how I handle my stressful situations. It's simple. I laugh. I laugh. You know why? Laughter releases endorphins that does something to your brain and causes you to feel happy. It's kind of hard to laugh and be mad at the same time. Have you ever tried it? Next time you get mad, just try it. I can remember one time I was driving my vehicle. I was on my way to a networking event, and I was talking to an agent. We were discussing what she should do because she was trying to get one of her agents a sales director. I'm doing the speed limit. And I'm just on the road. And so I'm talking to my agent. And I had my window down. Next thing you know, I hear a pow. So I pull over. And she was like, my gosh, are you okay? I started laughing. She's like, why are you laughing? I was like, because I think my tire went flat and I think I might have messed up my axle because it slammed down on the ground. She's like, that's not funny. I was like, well, yeah, it kind of is. She's like, why? I was like, because the tire needs to be changed. I got to get out of the suit and change it. Now, I could have got upset. I could have got mad. But what would that have solved? I would have still had to change the tire or call somebody to get it fixed. But the reason why I reacted that way, because it's habit. Number two, it taught my agent how to react when they have something difficult to deal with. Remember, I was on the phone with my agent when my tire blew. So I could have got upset, cursed, kirked out. I've had agents be on the phone when I was upset before. That is not pretty, and that is not something you want somebody to duplicate. So when my agent started going through tough times, they started doing what? Emulating what I was doing, opposed to the opposite. So emotional intelligence is something that you really have to master and practice. If not, you're not going to last in this business, or you will stroke out or have a heart attack. It's that simple. Don't take everything so seriously. Take what you do seriously, but yourself not so much. Learn how to laugh at yourself. I laugh at me more than I laugh at anybody. I trip up the steps once a day. Yes, up the steps, not down. Why? Because I'm running up the steps like I'm 6. But that's okay. Any questions about what we've talked about so far? No?
No.
Any thoughts? Any rebuttals? I would love to hear them. I'm not always right. I'm just right more times than I'm wrong. No? Okay. What's another way that you can meet successful people that are looking for credit-worthy clients? Meetup.com. If you go to meetup.com, put in they want to know what city you're in, so just put the city you're in, and what they'll do is they'll give you a list of all of the meetup places, or networking places, if you will, that are in your area. Now you can break it down to how close to your vicinity you want. You could be as close as 5 miles or as far as 2 miles. 2 hours, excuse me, or 50 miles or something like that. So you can determine how close you want to be to the networking area or how far you want to be from it. And then what you do is you start looking for realtor organizations, mortgage lender organizations, and things of the like. And then I would suggest you go to a networking event, if you're able to, once a week. They're 90 minutes, generally speaking, especially in this area. I don't know how long they are in other areas, but I know in this area, they're generally 90 minutes. So what you have to be prepared for is to take about 2.5 hours out of your time. Because you gotta figure out how long it takes to get there, how long it's gonna take you to get back, right? So you give yourself 30 minutes each way, then that might, hopefully it's close, because it might take you 30 minutes to get there. So you basically want to plan for at least 2.5 hours when it comes to a networking event. What you want to do when you get to that networking event is you want to make sure that you have your elevator speech ready. Who are you and what do you do? And why is it important? Have you ever asked somebody what they do and they tell you what their title is? Why do people do that? Think about it. I ask you who you are and what you do, and you tell me what your title is. Your title does not tell me what you do. Your title tells me what your position is. That doesn't tell me what you do. So if I don't know what position does for what your position does for your company, you didn't answer the question. So if you tell me what your title is and I don't know what that title means, who are you leaving it up to to define that title? You leave it up to me, aren't you? And what if I've had some negative dealings with that title? Then that title might not be the same title as yours. Or it might not have the same operational function as yours. That wouldn't be too smart, would it? So why is that important? In this area, if someone ever asks you what you do, they don't care that you're a sales director. They don't care that you're a vice president. Because that doesn't tell them what you do. The real question that they're asking is, what can you do for me? They don't really care about what you do. How can you benefit me? So if you're talking to a realtor, what can you do for that realtor? They don't care that you fix credit. What can you do for that realtor? What problem can you solve for that realtor? Right? If they're in the insurance industry, property and casualty, what can you do for that insurance agent? If they are a personal financial planner, what can you do for that personal financial planner? Not what your title is. Not what your description is. They don't care about that. They want to know how you can help them. And I already know that people are thinking, well, fixing credit can help them. That doesn't tell them that you can help them, because what if they don't even know what credit repair is, or what if they've had a negative encounter with somebody that does credit repair? Now you just got lumped into that same box because you let them define what a credit repair person does. It's not thinking, it's being lazy. How do you fix their problem? Right? Why are you here, and why are you important to this organization? What do you provide that don't nobody else provide? And you got to be able to do that in less than a minute. So this is what I used to say when I would get asked who I am. My name is Thomas Harrelson. I'm with TMH Global. And what I do is I help mortgage lenders and realtors sell more homes, putting themselves in a win-win situation. That's what I tell them. And what do you think they ask me after I tell them that? How do you do that? That's the question that you want your elevator speech to cause them to ask. If your elevator speech does not cause them to ask how you do that, it's not effective. And when somebody asks me how I do that, I go, you know what? That's a great question, and it all depends on your situation, your circumstance, but I would love to have an opportunity to sit down with you and go over that. Do you have your calendar out so we can schedule an appointment? Now, if you're a salesperson, you want to close them immediately. Why wait? Can I be honest with y'all and answer that question? You're talking to a realtor or mortgage lender. Why wait? Has anybody ever been on a date? Did everybody remember dating?
Mm-hmm.
You go out on a date. Y'all go out to eat. Y'all just met. If that person after the date reaches over to kiss you or stick their tongue down your throat, how you gonna feel? You're gonna feel awkward, right? Because y'all don't know each other, right? That's what salespeople do when they're trying to get a sale from somebody that they just met. Think about it. You don't know me from Adam or Eve, but you want me to give you a referral. I don't know you. How are you going to close me and give me, you want me to give you access to my people? I don't even know where you live. I don't even know if you're a stalker. Do you have any priors? Are you even from this area? But you want me to give you access to all of my people that I built a relationship with. We don't do that here. What they teach when they tell you to go for the sale right now is basically they want you to just rape somebody. And as a business owner, that offends me. Because I have people come through my door every day. They don't even know what I do. That's why I took my sign out. Come to my door. They see my name on the desk. Mr. Harrelson. First of all, they say it wrong. Mr. Harrelson. My name is such and such so-and-so with such and such insurance company. And I would like to take the time to show you how we can be of a greater benefit and help you get more out of your existing clients. That's what they say. You know what I hear? Mr. Harrelson, my name is such and so with the insurance agency, and I want you to give me all of your warm leads for free. Because that's what you want, right? You want access to everybody that I have access to so I can send them to you so you can sell them something. And you want me to give it to you without any compensation. You're trying to rape me. I'm going to call it what it is. I'm going to call it what it is. You're trying to basically rape my clients. I'm just supposed to give them over to you. That's like a pedophile going, I hate to say it like this, but it's dark. It's nighttime. All the kids should be in the bed. That's like a pedophile going to a kindergarten class and saying, I want to take all these kids to the zoo. And you go, okay, get out of here. One thing you're going to learn about me is I'm going to tell the truth, no matter how uncomfortable and how unpleasant it is. Because at the end of the day, we got to be real with people. No business owner is going to give you access to all their people. They're not going to do it. And you just going to walk out with all my leads and I didn't get anything? When one lead for credit repair, one hot lead, how much do you think that costs? To purchase a lead, you know they sell leads, right? You know there are companies that actually sell leads. You got warm leads and you got hot leads. A hot lead means that they've already vetted that person, they're just ready to buy. How much do you think somebody would charge you for a hot lead? Meaning they're ready to buy, they need credit repair right now. How much do you think they would charge you for that? I know some services. They charge you anywhere from $75 to $150 per lead. But you want to come in my office and you want me to give you access to all 20,000 of my associates that could potentially be credit repair clients for you? Are you crazy? I don't even know you. You ain't even say my name right. That's not realistic. It's not going to happen. Now, if you want to know how to get somebody to give you leads, this is what I suggest, and this is what I teach that has gotten some great results. It got one of my proteges $30,000 for one question. And the question is, at its core, how can I help you? At the basis of core, how can I help you? Simple, right? And I know people are thinking, especially the winters, why on earth would I ask a business owner, how can I help them? You okay out there?
Jim, I can't get you.
I got a ruler or something that you can use. I think there's one in my desk.
No, I'm listening.
Okay. So, how can I help you? And the person might be thinking, why would I, as a business owner who doesn't have anybody that could potentially help them, why would I ask a business owner who's successful that one question? And I'm going to tell you 2 reasons why. The first reason will appeal to the softies, aka the springs. Because you care. Number 1. For the winters, it creates a psychological advantage. Think about it. I don't know you. You don't know me. But I'm asking, how can I help you? And I haven't asked you for anything. So if I'm asking you, how can I help you, and I haven't asked you for anything, what does that tell you? That's what that's telling them psychologically. That's not what you said, but that's what you implied. And to put it in a way that makes sense for the falls, you don't know me, I don't know you, but I'm sure there's somebody that I know that can help you get to the next level if you would like to. I don't want anything from it other than to help you. That's what that means. How can I help you? And you will always get the same response until more people do this. They'll stop. They'll give you this the tilted head. They'll rear back. And then many times they'll ask you, can you repeat that? What? Can you help me? And you know why they do that? Because nobody ever asks that question. They never ask. They always are asking for leads. They're asking for referrals. They're asking for help. But no one ever asks the person, how can I help you? The only time somebody asks somebody, how can I help you, is if you're in the store, right? May I help you? Right? How many times have you gone to a business on the top business and they say, how can I help you? Your upline asks it because they're financially benefiting from it, right? And rightfully so, they should. So I'm not knocking it, but I'm saying, how many times have you talked to a business owner that had absolutely nothing to do with your business and they go, what's your goal? Or what is it that you're trying to accomplish that if you made it, it would put you at the next level? Wouldn't you feel like, man, this is a really nice person and I got to help them get to where they're going? I mean, wouldn't you feel that way? So why don't more people do that and why don't people teach that? Because everybody's in a rush to become wealthy. No, let me rephrase that. Everybody's in a rush to become rich. And no one's trying to become wealthy. Does anybody know the difference between being rich and wealthy? Has anybody ever thought about it?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's because, honey, you've heard me say this before. So, I'm going to give it to you like this. Rich is Kevin Durant. That's rich. Wealth or wealthy is LeBron James. You furrowed up your eyebrows. Do you know why I said that? LeBron James already has an entertainment company. He has a production company, which is worth well over a couple of $100 million outside of basketball. So if he would have stopped playing basketball, he would still be worth millions of dollars. Kevin Durant, on the other hand, has only got a couple of ventures that's not generating millions of dollars outside of basketball. So, God forbid, if he got injured, he would no longer be rich. Or he would only be wealthy as long as his money lasted. See, what wealth is your ability to maintain your standard of living when you no longer work. That's what wealth is. So, you can have somebody that's $5 million rich, but they are not as well off as somebody that's $500,000 of wealth. Remember the definition? If somebody has $500,000 of wealth, that means they're not working and they're still generating $500,000. $5 million rich means they have to perform to get the money. And once they stop working, the money disappears. This person has $500,000 worth of wealth. They can start working today, and 3 years from now, they'll still be having $500,000 a year. Everybody wants to get rich. Nobody's really focusing on wealth. That's the difference. Everybody wants that quick money. And quick money means I'm getting a client. The client only stays on the service for 3 to 4 months, and then I got to go get another client to replace that client while I get a client so I can make a profit. You just hear what I'm saying? So, as my business grows, right? If I have to get 2 clients just to make 1 profit, is that a good business model? That's the difference between a salesperson and an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs look at everything on a whole. We look at things from a different perspective. If you're making $20,000 a month, but you're working 20 hours a day, your hourly rate is a lot less than what it should be. Let's do the math on that right quick. $20,000 a month, right? $20,000 a month is what? $5,000 a week?
Yeah.
Okay, $5K a week. If you worked an average day of 40 hours a day, right? 8 hours a day, right? Right? So you figure that's $750 a day, right? No, $750 a day. It's $1,025 a day.
5 days.
Yeah, for 5 days. 5 days a week. So that's 1,000.
Why is it not 1,000? Even.
Oh, 1,000. So you see my daggone calculator. So that's $1,000 a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Divided by 8 hours. How much is that an hour?
125.
That's 100 and what?
125.
$125 an hour. Divide 1,000 by 20 hours. $50. Do you see the difference? You're generating $20,000 a month, but you're working 20 hours a day, which basically means your hourly rate is $50 an hour. You, mathematically, are making less an hour than an engineer at Raytheon. Why should I be impressed? I'll wait. And that's precluding you don't work Saturdays and Sundays. So if you work Saturdays and Sundays 20 hours, now what's your hourly rate? You're making less than you might be making a little over minimum wage. Well, you're probably making more than minimum wage. You're probably making like $20 an hour. Now here's the kicker. As a business owner, you reduce your hourly rate to $20 an hour, and you haven't even paid taxes. What is your tax rate if you're making $20,000 a month? Don't you think you would be on the upward end of 35%? So what's 35% of 20? %50 of 20 is 10, right? And then half of that is 5. So that means let's just say you coughed out $7 for every $20 you make. You now have effectively reduced your hourly income to $13 an hour. See, don't come to somebody that runs a business and talk to me about something when I'm just going to break it down like this. So you want me to work 20 hours a week for the potential, because no one signs up in the business and automatically makes $20,000 a month, right? So you want me to come into this business knowing that after I reach $20,000 a month, I'm only going to be earning $13 an hour? Who does that make sense to? Doesn't make sense to me. So, I'm going to make you think. It ain't going to be pretty, but I'm going to make you think. So, there are lawyers that make $125 an hour that work 60 hours a week. Right? That's less than what FES agents that are earning $20,000 a month are making, right? So do you want a high-paying job, or do you want real residual income? That's the most important question. That's the reason why inherently, again, this is not an insult. I'm just being real. Inherently, the reason why the leaders have never come to this area to sell credit repair, because they knew something about this area was going to expose them to the fact they only made $13 an hour. Now, if you come to me telling me I'm only gonna make $13 an hour, and I gotta work 20 hours a week to do it, 20 hours a day to do it, I'm gonna have a problem with that. But if you tell me I can make $20,000 an hour, $20,000 a month, and I only gotta work 20 hours a week, now we talking. Do you see the difference? Because that's the way the profit model is supposed to work. You're supposed to work less as you generate more income. So for those of you that Sales directors and above. If you're making about $5K a month, right? As a sales director, right? How much does that put you at a year? $60,000. The people that you will be able to influence make this much a year. Why? Because you're earning more money than they make a month. If you're a sales director and you're making $5,000 a month, you're not going to influence somebody that's making $100,000 a year. Because before taxes, they're bringing in $8,000 a month. You're coming up $3,000 short. And they ain't got to work 20 hours a day. If I could say this one thing to individuals that get high up in MLMs, and you're making $20,000, $20K per month, the only people that you can influence are those that are making $10K per month. One of the things I learned when I was in Amway. Anybody ever heard of Amway? It's just amazing that Betsy DeVos, whose husband Rich DeVos was a co-founder of Amway, actually is in the House of Representatives and Congress now. My upline that was in the VP area. He said he became successful because once he was generating enough income, he only talked to people that was making more money than him. Because he wasn't working. He would talk to people on vacations. He would talk to people on trips. He would talk to people at the golfing events. And they'd be like, well, what do you do? He'd go, I sell soap. How much you make selling soap? $100,000 a year. I mean, $100,000 a month. Selling soap? Yeah. How do you do that? And he would tell them. And he always said this. When you're in that type of industry, and tell me if you've ever heard this. You sponsor at your level and above. So if you're sponsored at your level above, that means everybody on your team should be either making the same amount of money you was making when they got before they signed up, or they should be making more money than you before they signed up, right? If not, you're doing it wrong. So why when I go to some of these presentations, am I seeing people coming in jeans, baseball caps, and things of that nature, when the people that's hosting the events are generally making $7,000, $8,000 a month? Now, all the people that I know that make that kind of income dress like me, or better. I'm just saying what most people are thinking, but too scared to say. You're not sponsoring people at your level and above. You're influencing people at your level and below, which is the reason why they quit. Because they're not going to question you. They're not going to ask you questions that you can't answer because you can flash your check and say, look, I made this kind of money. You can't do that to me because I'm going to ask you a question. How much you make an hour? And we're going to do the math. And you're going to have to ask that question. Because I'm not going to be influenced. And there are a lot more people like me and better in this area than there is anywhere else. So the reason why I'm drumming this in your head, because I need you to understand. I'm not an anomaly. I'm the average. And I'm kind of below average right here too. I'm just one of the more vocal ones. Most business owners, they will generally ask you 1 or 2 questions, and if they're successful, you would never know that they were in business, and they will dismiss you. Politely, of course. Well, it was great talking to you. I gotta go talk to the kids, or I gotta go water the grass, or I gotta go feed my dog. $3.5 million monthly just walked away from you because you sell credit. I'm just saying. So, questions, comments, disagreements, arguments, corrective decisions. I'm open for all of them.
So what's a better word to say instead of credit repair?
How can I help you? Again, if you're going to a networking event, you tell them what problem you solve. So if they're an insurance agent and they do property and casualty, you say, I help insurance agents not only retain their clients, but save them more money. Why? Because insurance agents, their underwriters determine whether or not they get the policy. And when their credit is gets ran, because underwriters are supposed to run clients' credit once a year. And if your credit has gotten bad, then your policy increases. What people don't know is that sometimes their policy doubles and triples. I had one client who ended up, because he had 5 cars and he had 2 houses, his insurance was $900 monthly because his credit was bad. Property and casualty insurance, car insurance, $900 a month. That's almost $1,000 because his credit was bad. What do people normally do when their insurance companies raise their premiums? What do?
Go to another company.
They leave, right? So the question you can ask is, what do you do with the people that leave because of their credit issues? And they tell you, like, okay, well, there was a way that I could show you how to not only retain them, but save them money in the process, and thus have them refer more people to you. You would want to know how to do that, wouldn't you? You say stuff like that. You solve a problem because you know that there is a problem. And how do you know there's a problem? When you go to networking events, you talk to people about their problems. We get paid to solve problems. We don't get paid to tell people what their problems are. There's a difference. I'm never going to tell somebody everybody got bad credit. I don't know everybody. I don't. Everybody needs my service. I don't know everybody, so I don't know whether or not they need my service or not. But I do know everybody has a problem. And if I ask you what their problem is, 9 times out of 10 you're going to tell me, and then I'm going to point you in the direction of somebody that can solve your problem. Which means now you are emotionally indebted to me because I did what? I helped you and I didn't ask you for anything. Isn't that amazing? That's how you never have to worry about anything as long as you're a business owner. You don't beat people up. You don't tell them what's wrong with their company. You don't tell them that they got bad credit. You don't tell them that their insurance rates are jacked up. You don't tell them that they need to get in a better home. You don't tell them that they live in the wrong area. You ask questions, and then you solve their problems, and then they will gladly pay you to do that.
I met a guy that sells life insurance, but he was interested in the protection membership plan because of the will, trust, and power of attorney. He says he has a whole bunch of people that need that.
And didn't I tell you that was going to happen? Yeah. Find out about it. Find out exactly what about the will, trust, and power of attorney that he likes, or the protection plan that he likes, and then when he tells you that, you can cater your pitch when you talk to other insurance agents. Okay? We'll talk about that offline. So that's how you talk to them. You find out what it is that they need. If anybody's looked at any of my business cards say what the name of my company is. But I tell people I am the pops of the community. They go, pops? Yes. What is it? What's that first P stand for? I haven't looked at it in so long. Persistently optimistic problem solver. That's my title. I'm the pops of the community. Persistently optimistic problem solver. I didn't say I solve. I didn't say I sell credit. I didn't say I do taxes. I didn't say I do business lines of credit. I said I persistently and optimistically problem solve. That's what I do. That's my brand. What's your brand? What do you do? And the reason why I do that is because I don't know what their problem is. I'm not going to somebody under the assumption that they need their taxes done, or they need their 501c set up, or that they need their 990s done, or that they need credit, or that they need a little bit. I don't know what they need. All I can tell them is, if you got a problem, I can help you solve it. So tell them what your problem is. What's your brand? What do you do? What do you want to be known for? What do you want to be known as? Because that's how people remember you. Okay? That's what's going to separate you, even if you decide to do social media. Social media is a very powerful marketing tool. That's what it is. It's a marketing tool that can potentially lead to leads and then sales. And if it's set up right, it can be a source of reoccurring leads. It can be. But that requires knowing the platform that you're using, knowing the automation that you're using, and setting it up, or paying for somebody to set it up. But what's going to make you wealthy is being able to talk to people. Because my children's generation don't know how to talk to people. They don't even like to talk to people. My youngest son, he's 20. I have a 30-year-old, a 27-year-old, and a 20-year-old. The two oldest will pick up the phone when I call. The youngest, when I call him, he thinks something wrong. What's going on? Nothing, I'm calling to see how you doing. Oh. He would much rather I text him than call him. I don't like texting. I'm old. Makes my thumbs tired. But that's what he prefers. So why do I say that? Your oral communication skills will make you billions. Now it's kind of interesting that Mark Zuckerberg is learning Mandarin. Does anybody know why?
Some wealth over there.
Hmm?
There must be some wealth over there.
Say it again.
There must be some wealth over there.
Because it doesn't matter that he's a social media guru with Facebook. He needs to communicate to the Chinese that it's effective. He can't do that if he don't know the language. Oral communication will make you billions because most people run from it. They would much rather go on Facebook. They would much rather go on Instagram. They would much rather go on LinkedIn. No one wants to talk. Everybody wants to sell. Eventually people get tired of talking to people. The majority of the wealthier, upper echelon, financially astute people actually want to have a conversation with you. They don't want a bunch of text messages. They actually want to talk. So if you learn this business and you get really good at communicating, let everybody else go for the $5 million. Being rich. You'll have the 500,000 of wealth. And it'll probably be more than that. You won't be replacing your agents nor your clients every 3 to 4 months. My average, I replace a client every year and a half. Because I do the work up front. So, any questions? No? All right. So with that, I'm going to end this. We can still talk, but I'm gonna get off this mic. I'm starting to hate the sound of my voice. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully it got you to thinking. Hopefully it didn't upset you too bad. The goal was not to make anybody feel bad or disrespect anybody's upline or process that they're teaching. But my goal is just to be blatantly honest. That model does not work here. It will never work here. Not as long as we have the economy that we have. So if you want to follow that model, go to Richmond. Go to my hometown of Hampton, Virginia. Go to Newport News. Do not try it up here. You will get embarrassed. So with that, good night.
You just dropped the mic.
No, I cut the mic off. I didn't drop the
You
mic.
dropped the mic.
No, I didn't drop the mic. I just cut it off. Fletcher, thoughts?
I see how you say your training is different than down there, and I love it. You know, that's the first time I've ever heard in being in FES. That's the first time I've heard it like that.
Oh yeah, I've been an FES agent since 2011. I got a chance to see it morph from what it was then to what it is now. And when I reached the title of regional sales director, I was tired. And I had to make a decision. Do I want to continue to be tired? Or do I want to develop a way for my agents to become leaders so they're not dependent on me doing every damn thing? So I just basically backed away from the active work and I developed a system to talk to people in this area so you can get referrals without having to work so damn hard. So while doing that, I was also mentoring individuals in other business arenas and avenues, and what I taught helped them to become successful too. So that's what I do now. It doesn't matter what you're selling. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. This applies to everything. So yeah, what I teach, it's a little bit different.
I like it.
Yeah, but the goal is to make you think, because I want you to be able to go anywhere in the world that speaks English, unless you know another language, and be able to talk to anybody, even a business owner, because you want to be able to get the maximum effect from the minimum amount of work. And what that looks like is, instead of going after 20 agents that may or may not do some work, why not go after 20 loan officers that's going to continue to feed you credit repair sales, where you don't have to do all the work, where your closing rate gets better because they're telling these people what to do, because these people need to get into a house. So if their lender or their loan officer says you got to do A, B, C, D, and E, 9 times out of 10 they're going to do A, B, C, D, and E. Why? Because now they're your leverage. If somebody walks into my office, Fletcher, and they want credit repair, right? And I go, okay. I sign them up for the service, and then all of a sudden, hey, how's it going? I sign them up for the service, and all of a sudden I don't hear from them. I have no leverage because it's just me. But if one of my realtors sends me a client, and that client wants to buy a house in 9 months, and I put them on a protection plan, and then after 3 months I don't hear from that client, who am I going to call? I'm going to call that realtor or that mortgage and say, hey, is everything all right with such and such and so-and-so? We were supposed to have a meeting. I see that their card is declined. I reached out to them. I don't know if they're okay. I ain't gotta say nothing else or do nothing else. That mortgage or that realtor is gonna be on their high parts. That's leverage. You don't have any leverage if you're the only person that's responsible for that person being in the system. You just don't. So you want to make sure that any interaction that you have or anything that you go into, you have a lot of leverage. Meaning you you do the least amount of work but get the greatest impact or the greatest involvement. Okay? What gives you more leverage than a loan officer? A loan officer that's a brokerage. Because now you're not dealing with one loan officer, you're dealing with many loan officers. You see how that works?
Yeah.
So you're looking at how to get the most bang from one conversation. So that's what you want to be looking at when you're conducting business. How can I maximize this relationship, and who do I need to have a relationship with in order to get the biggest bang for my buck? Okay? You talk to a mortgage lender, and that mortgage lender works with 20 realtors, and those 20 realtors are feeding that that mortgage lender loans, and over 40% of them getting kicked back because of credit repair, and you've got a relationship with them, who's going to be getting all that business? So you're getting referrals from 20 realtors because you know one mortgage lender. Isn't that better than going out to try to find 20 realtors? So you see what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
You want to maximize how much time you spend doing the actual work, because you can develop a relationship with somebody and that person has what you need and who you need to send you those people. That's how you end up generating more income and working less hours. I'm not looking for credit repair clients. I'm not. I'm looking for realtors whose clients get turned down. That's who I'm looking for. I'm looking for mortgage lenders whose clients get turned down. I'm looking for brokerage houses who have a whole bunch of mortgage lenders whose clients get turned down. That's what I'm looking for. Because if I foster that relationship with that one person has access and influence of all those people. Now all those people are coming to me, and I only had to talk to one person. That is the real act of leveraging the efforts of other people. That's what that really means. Other people's time, energy, and effort. But because it's something that they're already doing, right? Because they're going to talk to those people anyway, right? Why don't I just talk to them? Because if I just talk to them, then they're going to send me those people. So I want to get everybody that comes across my path, I want you to be able to put yourself in a situation that every time you see something, you can develop a process to generate income from it. That's what my goal is when I talk to anybody. I want you to be able to solve any problem and get paid for it if you choose. Or if not, you just help people and then send them an invoice. You know one of the greatest feelings is to send somebody an invoice with what you're worth and the total be zero. That's cool. So just keep that in mind and keep that enthusiasm, because that's going to help you a lot. Enthusiasm is good when you're dealing with business owners, because that means you like what you do. Walk around with your mouth all poked out looking all sad, yeah, no one's going to want to do business with you.
Makes sense.
So let me make sure I give you my card so you can get a hold of me if you need anything. You got one of my cards, right?
No one else. This is glossy. The other one is glossy.
So anybody got any questions they have?